European Union leaders are meeting for a second day Friday in Belgium as they struggle to reach a deal on a new 7-year budget with little sign of agreement in sight. The European Commission wants to raise its budget for 2014 to 2020 to $1.2 trillion, but the proposal is meeting fierce opposition from several member states who are imposing tough austerity measures at home. Talks went late into the night Thursday, but leaders of the 27 EU states appeared little closer to reaching agreement on a revised budget plan put forward by European Council President Herman Van Rompuy, who chairs the summit. Those who oppose the proposal argue that they're having to make heavy cuts to their own national budgets, so they want to see the EU budget frozen or cut as well. The majority of EU funding derives from contributions from member states. Other countries, particularly those which are net beneficiaries of EU funding, that is, who receive back more than they pay in, are opposed to cuts or a freeze. British Prime Minister David Cameron was pessimistic about the chances of breaking the impasse in remarks to reporters on his way into negotiations Friday. "I don't think there's enough progress so far. I mean, there really is a problem in terms of there isn't the progress in cutting back proposals for additional spending," he said. "It isn't a time for tinkering. It isn't a time for moving money from one part of the budget to another. We need an affordable spending cut. That's what's happening at home, and that's what needs to happen here." Cameron has already threatened to exercise Britain's veto if necessary to protect its interests. Chancellor Angela Merkel also said divisions remained after Thursday night's talks. She told reporters she believed the talks Friday would be the first step toward resolving the divisions, but that if a second step were needed, the leaders would take the time to work it out. That could mean leaders would have to gather again for another summit early next year. Calling his revised proposal a moderation budget, Rompuy said it was a response to the current austere times. Doing more with less money involves political choices. This is painful, even when cuts are evenly spread. So we must be sensible and realistic, he said in opening remarks. But at the same time it was important to remember this is a budget for the rest of the decade, Van Rompuy said, and so must be forward-looking and help boost jobs and growth. The biggest chunk of the proposed $1.2 trillion budget is earmarked for cohesion funding, or spending that seeks to narrow the economic gap between different EU states. Another large slice goes to the Common Agricultural Policy, or aid for farmers. The cap has historically been a bone of contention among EU member states, with those that don't have a large agrarian sector getting less out of it than those that do. France is among those that oppose cuts to cap funds. Many countries in Central or Eastern Europe also oppose cuts to cohesion funding, which helps pay for big infrastructure projects such as new roads or public transport links. The budget also earmarks substantial funds for competitiveness and growth, a major concern as many EU states face record levels of unemployment. Efforts to try to boost growth and job creation are a high priority, but cost a lot of money. Administration costs and international development aid outside the EU also make up part of the total. The EU's yearly spending amounts to about 1% of the region's annual economic output.